Okay, you guys are not going to believe this, but they have just discovered some tiny pharaohs buried in Egypt. And here's one of them. These are tiny pharaohs that they discovered. You know I'm full of crap. But this is another example of what a gaff is, okay? And so I made this today, and actually, his is still wet, but my son made one with me. That's my son's. This is the one I made. And it's so easy. But it's cool, yeah, because seriously, when you make a gaff or something, you could, if you wanted to do a sideshow in your haunt, or you can make these, and they're really, really simple. I don't know if you remember these. For some reason, the rib cage is missing on these two here, but they, at the dollar store, they would sell this Garland, skeleton Garland, and then they also have these things, skeleton necklaces. And remember the mummy's hand I did, the cursed mummy's hand? Sports tape. So what I did with this to get this was simply I took a skeleton and I wrapped him just using the full width around the body to get it tight and in position so that it's, you know, the legs are tucked in, the arms are in front. And then what I went ahead and did was I cut a big piece and then cut strips out of it so that I had long strips. And with that, that's what gave the small wraps. So big wraps just to secure it, and then cut strips to give it finer, tight wraps so that it looks like it's in scale. And then I took, I left the eyes and you could see a little bit of the mouth and everything, so it's distinguishable as to what you're getting. And then I took, I think it was nutmeg brown, and painted the whole thing. And then after that, I took a beige and dry brushed it, and then I mixed a little bit of white with the beige, and then dry brushed it again to give it some lighter highlights and stuff. And I thought about making him a sarcophagus. By doing that, I was thinking about taking like a log or something, a piece of wood that's pretty thick, and then cutting it square with my table saw, and then trying to turn it lengthwise and cut, not in half, but in a quarter, and that would serve as a lid, and then draw a square on the flat side inside, and then take my Dremel and then carve the whole thing out, and then take all the bark off. And then if I wanted to, on the cover, I could stencil a sarcophagus pattern, and then with the Dremel carve out the details. And then I thought about on the bottom drilling 4 holes and just having a like a twig stick, if you will, as legs, because it's going to be round on the bottom. And then sand it down, and then wood burn it. Take a torch to it, burn it, and sand it down, and put some linseed on, you know, age it or whatever the case may be. And then put this guy inside of it and put the lid back on it. So it go in your cabinet of curiosities, and you can tell people that, yeah, it was a discovered miniature race of pharaohs that were buried, or just a novelty item, or it's something you can incorporate into your haunt if you wanted to do like a sideshow oddities section. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And it's too, if you do with your kids, man. My son had fun doing this. His mother, my wife, is huge. She's very, very big into Egyptology, loves that stuff, and has a lot of it in her collection. And so I'm going to give this to her. Maybe I would like to make a sarcophagus for her someday. The other thing you could do too is make it out of Sculpey. You could, you know, roll out some Sculpey into flat sheets, and then measure and cut it into squares, and then bake it, you know, or decorate it, however you want to do it. Bake it, and then cut it with a razor knife. Even though it's baked, you can still cut it, and then glue it all together into a box, and then sculpt. You could roll out a flat piece, bake it, cut it to the size of for a lid, and then actually sculpt on top of it after your design, whatever it is that you may want, and then paint it up. So there's all kinds of, don't have to be a big project, to make these. It could just be something you want to kill a bit of time. Maybe you have other ideas of what you could do with something like this. It was fun, and my son had fun. Something that you can do with your kids if they're getting, most of them are being homeschooled now. They're doing their work on the computer. Kids are done now for the day, so they can't go nowhere. We can't go to the park, and if you got a bunch of kids, they can start driving you crazy after a while. So you got to find stuff to keep them busy as well, and they love it. I do this stuff with them. Also, too, I want to show you probably tomorrow, because she's in there still working on it, and it's still wet. My wife started painting a plague doctor today, and man, I love it. It's coming out great. She's gonna give it to me when it's done. I love it. It's beautiful, and I'd love to share it with you guys. So thanks to Keith and Vic from the Trio of Terror, digging the pumpkins, or Funkins, the styrofoam carvable pumpkins. Keith was doing a tutorial on that this morning, and Vic is always, between these guys, they're always doing something. So I'm back to work tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be putting a full day in, but I want to work on that Plague Doctor video, the tutorial, and then I have a few other things that I'm going to do. And I also have to get those interviews done. Like I said, I'm sitting on a bunch of interviews. I'm still going to do the daily vlog, but I got to start chipping away at some of this other stuff here, because it's starting to grow mushrooms, so. But anyways, I appreciate all of you. Thank you to the new subscribers, and to my loyal fans that have stuck by. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will keep going. And please check out my other brothers, Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks, and Vic Springston from Graveyard Creepers. Between the three of us, we're bringing you content every day. And yeah, so stay safe, and have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.